Tell me if this sounds familiar. You open up your social media to relax, and 45 minutes later, you feel worse than when you started. That's me on Pinterest. Not rested, not connected, just drained. Or you work harder than everyone around you and you are generally capable, and yet the financial results keep landing in the same place that they always have. Not because of the market, not because of your strategy, but because somewhere underneath that effort, something that is running a program that says that you only deserve this much. Here is what I want us to talk about today. The most expensive things in your financial life are not your investments. They are not your overhead, and they are not even your bad decisions. They are the things being sold to you as one thing while quietly being something else entirely. And once you see what they actually are, you cannot spend them the same way again. If you're new here, hi, I'm Diana, an investor, a trader, a realtor, a wealth coach, and a doctoral candidate. And this channel was created with the understanding that the wealth you are capable of building is entirely within your reach. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future episodes. All right, I want us to walk through something that is a list of things that have a label, the thing that they're being sold as, and then they're actually, when you look at them honestly, something completely different. Number one is scrolling, sold as rest, actual distraction. The difference matters because rest resonates you and distraction depletes you while making you feel like you had a break. And then the difference between those two outcomes over months and years is not trivial. That is your energy, your focus, your resource that is used to build your wealth. Number two is notifications. Sold as importance, actually control. Every time your phone interrupts a thought that you're doing deep work, a decision that you're making with real clarity, a plan that you're constructing with your full intelligence, you lose that thread. Not just for a moment. Neurologically, context switching costs you about 20 to 30 minutes to full recovery of interruption. Your most valuable financial decisions require your deepest thinking, and your deepest thinking is being sold piece by piece, notification by notification. The next one is social media, sold as friendship, actually validation. This one is subtle and important. Genuine connection builds wealth identity. It gives you evidence of belonging, of mattering, of being part of something larger than your own story. But validation mimics that briefly. But it does not build. It requires constant renewal and the comparison that comes packaged with it. Watching someone else's financial highlight reel while sitting with your own real story quietly installs a wealth identity that says you are behind, insufficient, and not quite there yet. Every time you consume comparison, you are playing with your self-concept. The next one is luxury, sold as purpose, actually emptiness. I am not anti-luxury. I want you to have beautiful things, but there's a specific version of luxury spending that is filling a gap. The gap between who you currently believe you are and who you want to feel like in this moment with that purchase. That spending does not close the gap. It confirms it. It says, I need to buy my way in feeling like I belong in this financial life. And as long as that is the operating belief, no amount of beautiful things will produce the feeling that you are actually looking for. Here is the pattern in all of these. Every single one of them is offering you the sensation of something your wealth identity actually needs, like rest, importance, connection, and purpose, while delivering a version that does not build you. It delivers just enough to keep you consuming and not quite enough to make you whole. The most expensive habit in your financial life might not be what you actually spend. It might be what you consume that quietly tells you who you are. I want to tell you why this matters specifically for your financial life, because what I just described is not a lifestyle problem. It is a wealth identity problem. Your wealth identity is a self-concept you carry about what kind of financial life is appropriate for you, what you deserve, what you can hold, and what level of success feels safe. And it is built not in your investment decisions, not in your strategy, not in your hustle. It is built in the quiet hours and what you consume when nobody's watching and what you fill yourself with between the big moves. Here is a question I want you to sit with. What is the emotional state you are in when you make the most important financial decisions? When you set your prices, when you buy or sell stocks, when you decide whether to invest or hold, when you take on a new client or turn one away. For most people, those decisions are made from a baseline, a default emotional state that was built across thousands of hours of input, comparison, distraction, validation seeking, numbing, and that collectively installed a particular set of beliefs about what they deserve and what is realistic for someone like them. The business owner who prices below market is almost never doing it because they do not understand pricing. They are doing it because their baseline emotional state whispers, "You are not quite worth that full number." Ask a little less. Stay within that range that feels safe. The investor who exits a position at exactly the wrong moment is almost never doing it because they do not understand how to trade. They are doing it because their wealth identity says this level of gain belongs to a different kind of person. Pull back, correct, return to the familiar territory. These are not strategic failures, they are identity failures, and the identity was built in the spaces in between and exactly what you have been feeding it. You cannot consume a distorted version of reality all week and then make a clear-eyed financial decision on Friday. What you feed your identity in the quiet hours is what your identity brings to the money decision in the loud ones. So here is a practical gift from me to you, because I do not want to just identify the problem. I want to give you the starting point for changing it. For the next 7 days, I want you to run a consumption audit, not a spending audit, a consumption audit. Every time you pick up your phone to scroll or open something to watch or check something that has nothing to do with building, ask yourself one question. Is what I'm about to consume going to tell me something true about who I am and what I am capable of? Or is it going to give me a distorted version of something real? The question is not about restriction. It is about awareness, because the shift in wealth identity work is always the same. Seeing what is actually happening before you can change what actually happens next. Let me know in the comments below if any of the following resonate with you. Business owners, run this audit specifically around the content that you consume about other businesses. Every time you watch someone else's revenue or growth story, notice what it installs. Is it inspirational that expands what you believe is possible for you? Or is it comparison that confirms a story about how far behind you are? Same content, two completely different installations. Investors, run this audit around the financial media you consume. The algorithm that serves you content is not optimized for your wealth. It is optimized for your attention. And the content that gets the most attention is almost always the content that produces the most anxiety. Fear of missing out, fear of being wrong, fear of not knowing enough. All of which installs exactly the emotional baseline that produces the worst investment decisions. For everyone else, start replacing one consumption session per day with what I call a wealth identity input, a real conversation, an honest reflection on what you are building and why. A 10-minute walk without a podcast, something that restores rather than distracts, something that builds rather than borrows, because your wealth identity is not built in the big moments. It is built in the small ones, and it is being built right now in every single thing that you are feeding it. Here is the thing about the items on the list I walk through. None of them are the problem. The loneliness is not a character flaw. The escape is not a weakness. The need for connection and importance and rest are human needs. Completely legitimate. The problem is when we meet those needs with inputs that cannot actually satisfy them, and in the process install beliefs about ourselves that quietly run our financial lives. You get to choose different inputs, not perfectly, not all at once, but deliberately. One consumption audit, one replaced session, one honest question asked before you open what you are about to open. And that is the beginning of wealth identity work. And if you want to go further with it, resources are provided in the links for you down below. The Wealth Identity Intensive is in the description below. 7 sessions that take you through the specific layers of your wealth identity with real exercises that you can apply in the same day. That is the place to start if today's video was a recognition that you want to go deeper. And if you are ready for private one-on-one work with me for 7 weeks in your specific story and my specific questions, the application to the 7-week coaching program is also down below. I review every application personally and I work with a small amount of clients at a time. So apply if you're ready to go all the way to the root. I'm Diana, this was Dollars with Diana, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.